I want your perspective on the film studio that's coming into town. Is
awesome.
Is it on your radar? Is that something? Do you think that is something that's attractive because we have so many performing arts as such a small town? Is that part of the decision?
Look, I don't care if you're Bruce Bennett or Kevin Costner. When you come to town and you spend any time in southern Utah, don't you kind of fall in love with the place?
Yeah, I understand.
And there's a lot of reasons. Again, another podcast.
Yeah.
Why Southern Utah, right?
Yeah.
From what we've heard from our people, Kevin Costner loves the area, loves the people, loves the ease at which he can get things done, loves the ability to find crews and find lots of resources here available. Wouldn't you build a studio in Southern Utah? If you could choose any place in the United States, pretty much the great climate. And so I think it's great. Film is near and dear to my heart. I wrote a film review column for 15 years in a local newspaper, so I got very close to a lot of the film people in the film industry. It's long overdue. We should have had a film studio by now because there aren't very many in Utah.
Yeah.
So if Kevin Costner has to build one, fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. And I hope he finds actors here, technicians, camera people, support people for that. I think it's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And from what I've heard of Kevin, pretty generous guy. He's going to give back to the community too. So I think we're really lucky to get that. The Utah Film Commission has done an awesome job bringing film crews here because they know when film crews come here, they fall in love with the place.
Yeah. Well, and I think they all kind of funnel together, right? All of these different things, like having the community theater, having different forms of art here, because we really do. We have all of the forms of art here. We have sculptors and painters and the live performances and all those things. So it's pretty cool to watch and see it continue to grow and develop. So go from where you started to where we are now has been a long road. Have we ever had a lot of pressure? Have you ever felt like it was really difficult to push the rock and, forward?
What we do, that's a good question, Robert. What we do is really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know that it gets easier necessarily, but the true leap that we've made over the past few years is to get the right staffing involved. That's key. Because I can't do it alone. I've got a staff now of 13 part-time people. They're amazing. We have a technical staff. We have box office staff. We have ushers and house managers. It really takes a village to do what we do. And so the piece of progress that's been really, for me personally, particularly rewarding is to surround myself with talented people. Isn't that the key to success, though?
That's it.
Come on.
Yeah. I hear it all the time.
I just unlocked it. It's the silver bullet.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people that are much smarter than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe there is some wisdom in being able to do that, right? Because it's hard too.
Yeah, it is.
Because you have to find people that work with you.
And then, but even the leadership has to have a passion for what they do, and you clearly have it, right? Like you could tell how much you love this, and
you wouldn't do it if you didn't have the passion. This is what I preach.
Yeah,
that's why passion is so critical to the artist, because you wouldn't do the hard things, the difficult things, to get you to create that art, unless you had a passion for it. However, there's also, I think, one of the things the board appreciates about me is my business background. Right? Walt Disney said that his greatest regret in life was that he didn't spend more time fundraising because his dreams were so expensive.
Interesting.
So I like to call it the commercial and the cultural. Right? The cultural is what kind of artistic things can you create? What kind of artists can you create? How can you inspire people? But the commercial is what funds your cultural dreams, your cultural goals and objectives, right? So at least as far as a nonprofit organization, you really need to have both things. But that doesn't mean the be-all, end-all is financial, because there's a lot of smaller organizations that don't care about the money. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
I want to sit with my guitar and play on the street somewhere. I want to be a busker in Ireland someday, It's still on my radar, and that's why I'm getting my hand fixed, so I can go live that dream somewhere. I don't care about the money at all. I want to open my guitar case and play some Tom Petty for somebody in Dublin. So there's that aspect of it too, for sure.
Well, and so that's a good segue. So you're still fundraising. So you're most of the way there for
over half
of the way there.
Both projects have a total of about 16 million, which is very reasonable. If you look on the back of that brochure, you'll see 6 very nice theaters have been built in Utah in the last 10 years, and they all have price tags of about 53, 83. Taylorsville was 39 million.
The Sorensen in Cedar City is 50 million.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Pleasant Grove 53 million.
Our project, while $16 million is a lot of money, our project is very modest.
Yeah.
And our community has been incredibly generous.
Yeah.
So we're really fortunate, but we need some more to get to the final destination. We haven't broke ground yet at the new theater. So everybody who's raised money has told me, Bruce, you're doing great.
Yeah.
If you've got over half of your money raised so far, and you haven't broken ground yet, because when you break ground, I think it creates even more excitement. People know what's really going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a snowball effect to it. And
I think one of the articles I heard at one of the fundraisers, you guys raised $1 million.
Yeah, that picture that you've got on from St. George News, and that was all local citizens who love what we do. That's phenomenal. $1 million in one.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. It was incredible, and that's the kind of generosity we have in this community. I cannot express how generous, and I don't necessarily mean just total dollar amounts or individual dollar amounts. I mean, I go to the mailbox every week, and I see this every week. I see something like this. Somebody has included a check for $50 or $150 with a scribbled note. Thank you for all you do. I love the show. I wept as I watched Sound of Me. You know, those kinds of things. You know, that $100 donation was probably a big sacrifice. This person might even be on a fixed income. Yeah. And they could have spent that money much better in other ways, but they love what we do. And that's what this community, that represents our community.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So but if there is anybody out there
that's what I was going to say,
who wants a great philanthropic venue, we're planning, Robert, to bring 80,000 patrons to that area a year.
80,000.
So we are going to have a very big impact on this community.
Yeah.
And we want to do it right. And so if there's anybody out there who wants to be part of it, we'll
St. George musicaltheater.com. Is that what it is?
Yeah, sgmt.org or sgmusicaltheater.com. We'll put your name on a building.
Yeah,
we'll put it on a restroom.
Why not?
Come on, right? The Robert McFarland men's room. Come on.
Put it on
has
a brick.
Ring to it.
Put it on a brick.
Put it on a brick. Certainly on a digital display.
Why not?
We're going to have all kinds of digital displays in there. But seriously, we've got some very generous people, and there are people out there looking for something that really impacts the community. And community theater has a unique impact. We can impact 6-year-olds to 68-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean, we just cast Funny Girl, and there's a woman in that show that's 72 years old. She's the sweetest woman ever. I've been on vacation with her. She's so sweet.
That's awesome.
And this is giving her something, a drive, a passion at that stage in her life. Does that not blow your mind?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That you can have people 6 years old and 72 on the same stage trying to do the same thing. Yeah. I submit there's very few things in life that can
level the playing field like that.
Right. That just can impact entire different spectrums of our community in such a major way.